A few standard satellites and rudimentary orbital hubs were all that showed, but the real truth had been buried deep for decades. 2 decades earlier, when Chen proposed the Earth Defense Initiative, many dismissed her as alarmist. Still, she swayed. Just enough leaders to agree first contact with an alien civilization might not be peaceful. Better to seem vulnerable while preparing silently. The Imperial fleet arrived in orbit with effortless arrogance, their colossal vessels casting shadows across Earth's major capitals. Chen observed calmly as their envoy vessel descended toward the UN headquarters. The alien's address was flawless, its demeanor tailored to radiate goodwill. But Chen had deployed micro-drones across the assembly hall. They picked up faint SEL frequency pulses, hidden broadcasts meant to infiltrate and neutralize defenses. Defenses the Imperials assumed existed, but didn't. "They're probing," Chen whispered. "They're preparing for Phase 2. She turned to her operations team. "How long until the primary fleet enters range?" Maya consulted the quantum sensor array. "Judging by the subspace flux patterns, under 6 hours. "Then we stick to plan," Chen said, voice calm but firm. "Let them believe the ruse. Let them think we're weak. Once their invasion force arrives, we'll show them Earth's first and only rule." She eyed the holographic battle map, where thousands of dormant defense systems floated unseen. Humanity was never as defenseless as it seemed. The command crew split off to their roles, and Chen allowed herself a tight, grim smile. The Imperials believed they faced a naive, undeveloped race, one ripe for domination. But they were about to learn the truth. Humanity had claws, razor-sharp ones, and it had spent generations honing them in the shadows. Meanwhile, above, the Imperial vessels kept up appearances, broadcasting calm, neutral signals. They had no idea. Each maneuver was being tracked, every data burst intercepted and unraveled by AI cores tailor-built for this exact confrontation. To them, Earth looked ripe for conquest. Unsophisticated, fragile, easy to absorb, which was precisely the illusion Admiral Chen had crafted. The trap had been laid. All they needed was the trigger. The full Imperial fleet emerged exactly when predicted, tearing through space-time at the system's edge. Over 300 warships brimming with planet-scorching armaments, their grand arrival was meant to instill fear. Instead, Admiral Chen felt only a steady chill of certainty. "Right on cue," she said, eyes locked on Luna Command's readouts. "Standard conquest formation. No attempt to disguise their intent." The diplomatic ship in orbit dropped its charade at once. The liaison delivered a sharp ultimatum: immediate surrender and assimilation or complete destruction. 1 hour to choose. "How considerate," Commander Wu quipped. "Shall we reply?" Chen gave a single nod, engaging the quantum-encrypted command grid. "All units, this is Admiral Chen. Initiate Operation Lazarus. Execute on my signal." Across the solar system, silent machines stirred. Hidden installations in the asteroid belt yawned open, releasing vast clouds of autonomous fighters, each one too small for standard radar to trace. Beneath, Earth's oceans. Quantum shield generators powered up their energy signal, H'ers masked by the planet's magnetic field. The Imperial fleet advanced with textbook precision spreading out, to ensure no escape craft could flee the system there. Sensors detected only primitive satellite networks and a handful of defensive platforms, exactly what they expected from a pre-FTL civilization. They're launching their first wave, Maya reported, monitoring the quantum feeds, 5,000 attack craft targeting. Major populations center. Exactly as the simulations predicted, Chen allowed herself a small smile. They're so predictable, it's almost disappointing. She keyed her command channel, "All units. Execute Phase 1, let's show them what they're really dealing." With the Imperial fighters screamed toward Earth's atmosphere, their pilots confident in their technological superiority. The first indication that something was wrong came when their targeting systems began to fail, quantum interference perfectly calibrated. To their frequencies scrambled their computers, quantum shields online, Maya announced city grids activating now across Earth, invisible barriers of twisted space at times sprang into existence, encompassing every major population center, the first wave of Imperial weapons splashed harmlessly against them, their energy dispersed into quantum foam. The Imperial commander voice boomed across all frequencies, no longer bothering with translation impossible. Their technology is primitive. How can they Chen? Cut off the transmission, with a gesture launched the swarm from hidden bases across the solar system. Earth's real defensive fleet emerge. Not the clumsy chemical rockets and primitive satellites the Imperials had detected, but hundreds of thousands of quantum-aid-driven nanofighters, each one equipped with technology that had been developed in absolute secrecy for decades. The Imperial fighters found themselves surrounded, their sophisticated systems rendered useless by targeted quantum interference. The nanofighters struck with devastating precision, their quantum weapons bypassing shields designed to stop conventional energy weapons. First wave neutralized. Commander W reported 0 casualties on our side. Imperial command ships are launching. Their second wave right on schedule, Chen nodded. Deploy the LANs from beneath Earth's oceans. Massive shapes began to rise. Submarine carriers hidden for years in the deepest trenches surfaced to reveal their true nature. Each one was a mobile fortress bristling with quantum weaponry and protected by shields that bent the very fabric of space around them. The Imperial fleet's formation faltered for the first time. Their sensors, finally adapting to Earth's quantum technologies, revealed the true extent of humanity's preparations. Where they had expected to find a helpless pre-FTL civilization, they instead faced an opponent who had anticipated their every move. They're attempting to regroup. Mir reported detecting massive energy buildups in their capital. Ships, they're preparing to deploy their planet-killer weapons. Perfect, Chen's eyes claimed initiate project. Prometheus, let's show them why you don't threaten Earth throughout the solar system. Hidden quantum relays activated, creating a web of entangled energy that had taken years to position. The Imperial fleet found itself caught in a massive quantum field. Their fastest-than-light capabilities suddenly neutralized your move. Chen whispered, watching the Imperial ship struggle against the quantum. Net, show us what you do when you realize you're not the biggest fish in the pond anymore. The battle for Earth was about to enter its next phase, and humanity was just getting started. 20 years of preparation were about to pay off, and the Imperial Collective was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating their opponents. The real question wasn't whether Earth would survive. The question was how much of the Imperial fleet would survive to carry word back to their empire about the terrible mistake they had made in threatening humanity. Counterattack. The Imperial IAL fleet's command structure was in chaos. Their supposedly primitive target had revealed defensive capabilities that rivaled or exceeded their own. Worse, their attempts to retreat and regroup were thwarted by the quantum interference net that now permeated the entire solar system. Admiral Chen watched the tactical display as the Imperial ships tried to adapt their strategies. They're falling back on traditional combat doctrine, she observed, concentrating their forces trying to punch through what they think is our weakest point. Should we stop them? Commander Wo asked, tracking the enemy fleet's movements. No. Chen smiled. Let them gather. Maya is the quantum resonance cascade. Ready. Dr. Patel's fingers flew across her console, charged and waiting. Admiral, the energy buildup is masked by solar radiation. They won't detect it until it's too late. The Imperial fleet had consolidated into a massive battlesphere, their most powerful. Ships at the core. Energy readings suggested they were preparing to launch a synchronized blast from all vessels, enough firepower to theoretically overwhelm any defensive system. They still think this is about brute force. Chen shook her head. Lieutenant Rodriguez, are you intercepting their communications? Yes, Admiral. Their command structure is fascinating, hierarchical, but with distributed autonomy. They're coordinating through quantum encrypted channels, but our AIS are already 3 steps ahead. of their encryption show, Me, their flagship's location, a red marker appeared on the tactical display, nestled deep within the Imperial formation. Chen studied it for a moment, then made her decision. Execute Operation Hydra. All units commence attack. Pattern Delta. 7 Earth's forces move with practiced precision. The swarms of Noff fighters reorganized themselves into complex geometric patterns, creating a three-dimensional web around the Imperial sphere. The Leviathan carriers submerged again, disappearing. Beneath Earth's oceans, they think we're retreating. Woe noted as the Imperials detected the carriers' apparent withdrawal. Let them think that may I initiate the Cascade, the quantum resonance. Cascade was humanity's masterstroke technology. It had taken 15 years to perfect. It didn't attack ships directly. Instead, it created a cascading wave of quantum interference that disrupted the very fabric of space at time around the Imperial fleet. The effect was immediate and devastating the Imperial ships. Quantum communications collapsed, their synchronized weapon platforms fell out of alignment. Most critically, their shield harmonics began to fluctuate wildly. Now Chen order all units execute precision strikes. Target their command and control systems. The nanofighters struck with surgical precision, their quantum weapons, exploiting microscopic gaps in the Imperial shields. But they weren't aiming to destroy each strike. Instead, inserted quantum viruses into the Imperial ship's computer systems. Virus deployment at 60%. Rodriguez reported their automated defenses are adapting, but slower than projected will achieve full penetration. In 3 minutes, the Imperial fleet's response was predictable. They launched their entire reserve of fighters, nearly 50. Soros L0 craft, in a desperate attempt to break the quantum interference net. Chen had been waiting for this initiate project, Medusa, from their hidden positions in the asteroid belt. Enormous structures that had been mistaken for mining installations revealed their true nature. Quantum pulse arrays activated, sending waves of targeted interference that transformed the space around the Imperial fighters into a maze of conflicting gravitational fields. Fighter screen neutralized. Wu announced 87% disabled. The rest are trapped in quantum EADS. Imperial capital ships are attempting to power through the interference. Chen nodded. Just as the simulations predicted, Maya deployed the Thetos protocol. The quantum virus is now infecting the Imperial fleet systems, activated simultaneously rather than attempt to seize control. They simply exposed the truth-detailed schematics of Earth's defensive capabilities, records of 20 years of preparation, and most devastatingly proof that humanity had detected their approach long before they reached the solar system. Message incoming from the Imperial flagship. Rodriguez announced they're requesting a ceasefire. Put it through, Chen ordered. Main screen. The Imperial Admiral appeared, a being of crystalline symmetry and cold calculation. Its multiple eyes focused on Chen with what might have been respect or fear. You knew we were coming, it stated. We detected your survey probes 15 years ago. Chen confirmed. Did you really think we wouldn't prepare? The Imperial Collective has never encountered such resistance. Your technology is what we chose to show you. Chen interrupted. Consider carefully what else we might have developed that you haven't seen. Yet the Imperial Admiral's crystalline structure shifted a gesture. Chen's sonologists had identified as profound uncertainty. What are your terms? Chen's expression remained neutral, but her eyes held steel. First, you're going to learn about a concept we humans call diplomatic relations. Then we're going to have a very, very interesting discussion about the future of your empire. The battle for Earth was ending, but humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage was just beginning, and they were determined to ensure it would be on their terms. The Admiral's gamut, the ceasefire, lasted exactly 6 minutes deep within the Imperial flagship. Emergency protocols activated quantum signals hidden beneath layers of encryption pulsed outward to every ship in the fleet. Admiral Chen watched as the tactical display shifted, showing New energy signatures flaring across the Imperial vessels they're activating. Something? Maya reported her fingers dancing across multiple holographic displays, energy patterns unlike anything in our database. Chen's eyes narrowed. They're desperate, and desperate enemies are the most dangerous. All units maintain quantum containment. Do not let them break formation. The material Admiral's crystalline form shimmered with barely contained energy. You are impressive humans, more than impressive, but the collective cannot allow such power to exist outside our control. Initiate the Omega Protocol. The Imperial fleet ships began to change. Crystalline structures emerged from their holes, growing and interconnecting like a vast geometric web. Energy readings spiked beyond anything Earth's sensors had recorded. Their ships together, Wu realized, creating some kind of unified energy matrix. No, Chen corrected, her voice tight. They're sacrificing their fleet to power something bigger. Maya. Analysis the energy patterns. They're creating a quantum singularity. If they succeed, it could tear apart the fabric of space-time. Throughout the solar system, they'd rather destroy everything than admit defeat. Chance's mind raced. 20 years of preparation. And they'd never anticipated this level of fanaticism, but humanity hadn't survived countless challenges by giving up when faced with the impossible. Dr. Patel Chen's voice was eerily calm. Remember that theoretical application of Project Prometheus? We discussed the one you said had a 133% chance of success. Maya's eyes widened. The quantum inversion. Admiral, that's never been tested outside simulations. The power requirements alone would drain every generator in the solar system. And if we don't try, none of that will matter. Anyway, Chen opened a channel to all Earth forces. This is Admiral Chen. All power systems prepare for total transfer to the quantum grid on my mark Leviathan, carrier surface, and deploy solar arrays. We're about to attempt something unprecedented. The Imperial Admiral's voice crackled through the comm. Your efforts are futile. The singularity cascade cannot be stopped once initiated. Accept your fate with dignity. Chen ignored him, focusing instead on the tactical display. The Imperial ships were now completely interconnected, their combined mass starting to warp space. Itself, time was running out. Maya, start the power transfer. Rodriguez, get me a direct quantum link to every AI in our system. Wu, coordinate with the Leviathans. I want every joule of power we can squeeze from those solar arrays. Earth's defensive grid hummed with unprecedented energy, the quantum shield generators beneath every city, the hidden bases throughout the solar system, even the civilian power networks. Everything fed into the growing pool of energy. Maya was gathering power at 60%, and rising. Maya reported quantum coherence holding steady. But Admiral, we're seeing dimensional instabilities forming around the Imperial fleet. The space around the Imperial ships was beginning to twist, reality itself buckling under the strain of their desperate gamut. The crystalline structure connecting their ships pulsed with otherworldly energy. 70%. Maya continued. Admiral, we need to act soon. The dimensional stress is approaching critical levels. Chen watched the tactical display, waiting for the perfect moment. The Imperial Admiral's voice came through again, tinged with, what might have been? Regret. Your species showed great promise, perhaps in another reality. Now, Chen ordered, execute quantum inversion. Maya's fingers flew across her console, initiating the most ambitious technological feat humanity had ever attempted. The massive pool of energy that gathered surged through the quantum grid, creating a controlled dimension inversion around the Imperial fleet. The effect was like watching reality turn inside out. The space around the Imperial ships folded in on itself, their quantum singularity cascade meeting the inverse quantum field generated by Earth's combined power. For a moment it seemed as if two universes were trying to occupy the same space field. Holding. Maya shouted. Over the strain of overtaxed systems, the cascade is being contained. Chen watched as the impossible physics play out before them. The Imperial fleet's desperate final attack wasn't just being stopped, it was being reversed. Their own energy turned back upon itself in a feat of quantum engineering that would rewrite physics textbooks for generations to come. The Imperial admiral's crystalline form cracked as he realized what was happening. Impossible. You've mastered quantum inversion, but that technology is merely theoretical. Humanity's greatest strength, Chen replied calmly, is turning theory into reality when our survival depends. On it, stand down, your fleet admiral. Your gambit has failed. The battle for Earth was about to reach its final phase, and humanity had once again proven that they would not go quietly into the night. The galaxy was about to learn that underestimating humans was a mistake no one would make twice. Victory and recognition. The quant inversion field shimmered like a second sun in Earth's orbit, containing the aftermath of the Imperial fleet's failed gambit inside Luna Base Command, Admiral Chen Wachatus. The last energy reading stabilized. The Imperial ships hung motionless, their crystalline structure. Networks shattered their mighty weapons. Silent final status report. Chen ordered her voice, showing no sign of the exhaustion they all felt after the grueling battle. Maya looked up from her console, dark circles under her eyes, but a smile of triumph on her face. The quantum inversion field is stable. We've contained their singularity. Cascade. Completely, their fleet is essentially frozen in a pocket of altered space-time. They couldn't restart their weapons now, even if they wanted to. What about our systems? Chen asked, turning to Commander Wu. All defensive grids are operational, though running at reduced capacity. The Leviathan carriers are back, underwater recharging their power cells. Nano fighter swarms are at 60% strength and holding defensive positions. Wu paused, checking another readout. Most importantly, our quantum shield network around Earth remains at full strength. The Imperial Admiral's image flickered onto the main screen, his crystalline form showing visible cracks from the strain of their failed attack when he spoke. His voice carried something humans had never heard from the collective before respect, tinged with fear. The Imperial Collective acknowledges its defeat, he stated formally, in 3,000 years of expansion. No species has ever. He paused, his crystalline structure shifting in what sonologists would later identify. As profound distress, we underestimated you. Gravely. Yes, Chen replied simply. You did. Now shall we discuss terms? The negotiations that followed would reshape the galaxy from Luna Base Command. Chen led the diplomatic team that would establish humanity's position in the interstellar community. The terms were non-negotiable. Earth would remain independent, its space would be inviolate, and the Imperial Collective would acknowledge humanity as equals. Not subjects, but Chen had one more card to play. There's something else you should know. She told the Imperial Admiral as the formal surrender documents were being prepared what you saw today. Our quantum inversion technology, the nanofighters, the Leviathan carriers, that Wozor defensive capability. You never saw our offensive weapons. The Admiral's crystalline form vibrated with alarm. You have more. Chen allowed herself a small smile. We spent 20 years preparing to defend Earth. Did you think we wouldn't also prepare to take the fight to our enemies? If necessary, let's just say it's in everyone's best interest that those weapons remain theoretical. The impact of Earth's victory rippled through the galaxy like a shockwave. The news spread faster than light through quantum communication networks. The undefeated Imperial Collective had not only failed to conquer a single planet, but had been comprehensively defeated by a species they dismissed as primitive in the days that followed as Earth's diplomatic course began the work of establishing their new place in the galactic community. Other species reached out, some sought protection, others alliance, all of them eager to understand how humanity had achieved the impossible. In her private office aboard Luna Base, Chen reviewed the latest reports. With her core team, the Imperial fleet was being escorted from the solar system, their ships still bearing the scars of their defeat. Earth's defensive systems were being upgraded with new insights gained from the battle and the first human embassy. Ships were being prepared for launch to other star systems. They're calling it The Terra Doctrine. Rodriguez reported reading from Miss Tablet Thedea that technological advancement should be hidden until it's needed. Several other species are already adopting similar strategies, and the Imperial Collective Chen asked and Chaos Wu replied with satisfaction. Their entire philosophy was based on technological superiority. Now that's been proven false, their member species are beginning to question everything Maya looked up from her own work. Admiral, the quantum physics community, is still trying to understand exactly what we did with that inversion field, the applications for this technology. They're revolutionary. Chen nodded, looking out her window at the Earth below the blue marble that humanity had defended so successfully, now representing something new in the galaxy, hope for other species who wish to remain free, and a warning to any who would try to conquer through force 20 years. Ago, she said quietly, when we detected those first Imperial probes. Everyone said I was paranoid for suggesting we needed to prepare now. Look, where are we exactly? Wu asked Ken, turned back to her team. Here expression, determined we're at the beginning. Humanity has proven itself on the defensive. Now it's time to show the galaxy what we can do when we're helping to build something better. She gestured to the star charts showing potential diplomatic missions. We've proven we can fight. Now let's prove we can lead as KN fell over Earth, its cities gleaming beneath their invisible quantum shields. Humanity looked to the stars with new eyes. They had faced their first great galactic test and emerged victorious. They IAL collectives. Failed invasion hadn't just been defeated, it had announced humanity's arrival on the galactic stage, and this was only the beginning.